And I'm like, that's a yes. You're saying there's a chance? Yeah, let's do it. And then it became the biggest event we ever did. But in my mind, I'm like, I want to be one of those people with deep pockets. We did that event. It was the biggest ever, but it was challenging because it wasn't a buyout. We're back there again doing a bigger event.
What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Boarding Pass. I am your pilot, Denzel Whitaker, joined by...
Your co-pilot, Jayden Choi.
Come on, let's roll the check-in, brother.
Alrighty. His name, Theo Dumont. Nationality, USA by way of Haiti. Occupation, strategic asset advisor. I want to know what that is about.
Okay.
And most importantly, fun fact. He took up to snowboarding 3 years ago and is now doing jumps at Mammoth Mountain. Completely obsessed with it.
That is actually wild. That's crazy.
That sounds pretty wild.
Yeah.
I'm scared of skiing and snowboarding in general, so a huge respect to that for sure.
You know what's wild about that fact is he's such an international man of mystery. Like, the more I learn about this guy every single year, it's like, first of all, we're dudes, right? Actually, you know what? I'm going to break into this conversation when we welcome to the stage.
Let's do that first, yeah.
Come on into the Inspo Lounge.
Woo.
Mr. Theo Dumont. What's up, brother?
Woo woo! What's up, guys?
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
There he is. Sir, every single time it seems like you and I talk, I learn something new. It was one point he was wearing like this button-down shirt, and I seen like some tattoos kind of peeking through, and I was like, "What is this?" And then he shows me he's just like fully just tatted out. Next thing, you're snowboarding with the hair as well.
Maybe 3 years ago, went all in lesson with my friend who's a lawyer, and he had been a ski person, but he was trying to get into snowboarding, and then we went in, and I just never looked back. Love it.
See, that's so wild because all of the people, the entire industry basically flocks to Sundance. So fascinating that you decided to pick up that new activity.
And I had done 8 Sundances in a row.
That's what I'm saying. I know you've been to Sundance.
So
What do you think is probably your biggest takeaway? Just something that you've learned within the process of exploring this hobby.
I think I'm crazy. I think I enjoy challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell.
Having a white belt and starting from scratch. And I know that about myself. So I have to be careful about embarking on new challenges that might disrupt my life, because if I'm in, like the tattoo, I'm all in. So that one, but this one is exhilarating because of the speed of the mountain and the rush. It's almost like meditation on the Himalayas, but with a board under your feet, and you can jump. I didn't listen when I started. I didn't think I'm going to do a jump. I'm like, let's just see if I can get down this mountain, right? And then steps. But that one, if you focus and lock in, you can get a lot of progress in a short amount of time. And next thing you know, I'm like, let's go, And then there's like new things where there's like the snow is pounding, and then you're at a crazy elevation, and then you're like, what's happened? And there's no one on the mountain, and you're experiencing this thing. And so there's a euphoric feeling of almost like meditation.
You know what, Theo, we could sit here and explain it to the audience all day how you and I met, but please, can you just tell us the behemoth of a film festival that you created, HollyShorts, the premier short film festival here in Los Angeles, California, and now globally? Can you please tell us what is HollyShorts?
Absolutely. HollyShorts is a gathering film festival showcasing short films, 40 minutes and under. We try to highlight the best short films from around the world. It started the year before YouTube was created. Now we're on our 22nd edition in August. It runs 11 days at the TCL Chinese Theater, among other locations. And then we go crazy. We have it's almost like the Super Bowl for short films. It's grown into one of the largest short film festivals in the world. It's a gathering. It's Oscar qualifying and BAFTA qualifying as well. We had 8 nominees this past edition of the Oscars and 4 wins because there was a tie for live action.
Man,
awesome.
All deserved congratulations. Let me tell you, it is a wild 11 days, man.
11 days.
Crazy. It's a long haul, y'all. Whew, you get gray hairs after, all gray,
Stop it. That black don't crack. So today is going to be a wonderful episode of me getting to know Mr. Theo Dumont.
We've known each other these years. Yeah, it's true.
All these years. But what's interesting about you, sir, is 6 years old, right? You and your family made a trip, encroaching upon new journey. Now, just like you told us, you're somebody who dives right in. Tell us about that. You left Haiti, is that correct?
Yeah, it was scary. It was terrifying.
Okay.
Like I remember it well. I
Yeah.
had a life, we had this beautiful house, and then it was like we gotta go. We gotta flee.
What do you mean you
There
had
was
to
a
go?
massive political upheaval, and the dictator's son was the ruler, and it was time to leave. We had to leave. My father was involved he's in a bank there, and everything was falling apart. They're literally burning the city on fire, and so a lot of people had to leave. So we left, and then cut to now I'm in Queens, New York. It's like the coming to America moment. It's like I'm literally in Queens, New York, and I don't think it was the winter yet, but it was just like, what is this? What is it? These tall buildings? I've never seen a tall building like that. The language, I didn't speak the language, and so just had a culture shock. Had to learn English, watch Sesame Street, and then got thrown into school. That's how, it was immigrant story, and then the parents split. So 1 year in New York, and then my dad moved to LA, and then we moved to Florida. So I got like Haiti, New York, and now Orlando, which was
Yeah.
adjustment. It was adjustment.
Looking back on that, like as an adult, how do you think that's influenced even just your business acumen, how you approach things in life, your creativity?
Oh, it's a lot. It was interesting. It felt like I had a lot early as far as lifing and resources. And then through the years as growing up, it felt like the resources dwindled and I could notice as a child. And so remember, I tasted in family life a lot of success early. So I wanted to always achieve that again. So I've been chasing that, right? And so I think definitely it gave me a drive of business of, it's like you see, you're like if you live a certain way and then now, okay, things are okay, but it's not like it was. And so I think I started working early, got a job at 14. Definitely those like early work values and then, realizing the haves and the have-nots, these early lessons. It's like, all right, well, how do you achieve? And then, we're in the greatest, you know, um, market for entrepreneurship. So I think, oh, my both of my parents had businesses, and so that had a lot of stuff to do later, And so I was trying to figure the path out. So in Miami, we had a whole nother education. Like me and Daniel Soul, who I co-created HollyShorts with. That's the other thing. I moved from Orlando down to Miami. And then at like 15, 16, we started like promoting nightclubs because that's the thing in Miami. House parties, nightclubs, organize these things all the time. And it was like nothing to us, but I felt like people grew up like this. We would host big parties at massive venues back then. And then this is before there was no age limits for some reason at this time. So cut to early, I'm at like a massive nightclub, a multi-million dollar nightclub helping organize the guest list. And this is like the era of there's Madonna had a nightclub, Prince had a club called Glam Slam. That was also in Minnesota and LA, but they had a Miami one. There was Amnesia, it was called, which the Trick Daddy had that's the big one was Amnesia. It was crazy. And we were kids doing this.
What a different time. Very different time.
Telling you that influenced everything later.
Yeah, yeah.
100%. The
I
love
mean,
of
absolutely.
events, gatherings, promotion.
But see, with all of these skill sets, it's easy to see, at least for me, kind of where this journey had led. But what was it you wanted to do growing up? Like, what did you go to school for?
Architecture.
Like,
I wanted
it
to be
was
an architect.
architecture.
I
So
wanted
wait,
to be
hold
an
on, hold on,
architect.
hold on. Your party promoting and planning and gaining all these life skills, and it was architecture?
That was a dream, architecture. And then also early on was like, I don't know, geology for some reason, architecture, geology. I was into that. And then listen, in college, it starts becoming like business, international business, marketing. It starts changing. But architecture at first, for sure, was a first love.
Here's the Theo. This is the thing, right? And this is why I reiterate: you know your homies, but you don't know your homies. You are very much an architect. I see that in everything you do, everything that I've watched you do over the years. But how do you jump from architecture to party planning to Hollywood?
I was gonna say.
Where does films come in the mix? Where is this love, this reverent passion that you have? You know what I mean? Where did that intersect within your life and kind of take over?
And also, like, just to add to that, like, from Miami and, Hollywood is in LA. Like, how did that happen as well? Just
You
kind of,
guys are awesome. So good. My dad lived in LA. And
right.
Okay.
so I think an influence of the films later I would realize an influence of those films, the Beverly Hills Cops, the anything that was
Yeah.
set in LA as a kid, watching in the cinema, it goes inside your DNA. You don't even realize it. And then I would visit a few times LA as a kid. And then there was a moment where I went to the movies on Hollywood Boulevard, right where the Chinese Theater is. Went back to get the fallback degree, back in school now, and then actually in school, I start figuring out what am I going to do, because this architecture dream's not coming true. I don't know what to do. I want to do something I love. And so what happened? I took a class, an English class, and the English professor was genius where he made it like a film class, which was ridiculous, right? English, it's an English class. And he started doing cinematic analysis where he's breaking down scenes of movies. And I'm like, what? What is this? And I'm stuck on this. I'm like, this is brilliant. Oh my God, what is this? Right? He's breaking down scenes. And then at the same time, a friend of mine recommended, hey, you should get a couple internships, figure out what you want to do. So I got it. Internships didn't really exist that much. It wasn't like now placement. So I got the phone book and I just started calling companies, cold calling, ad agencies. I thought I wanted to do advertising. So one of them called me back and they're like, "You want to intern for us? Work here for free? Sure." And so I went in there. It was like there was no program or anything. I just started. This was like in Miami, a very nice neighborhood, which is all business called Brickell. It's still going. And I'm doing my thing. I feel like I'm working, I'm doing it, but I'm not really liking the experience. It's okay. I'm learning a little bit. And then somehow I networked, and then my professor had recommended me for an internship, and someone I knew recommended for an internship for a company called Thorpe and Company. And at the time, that was the second largest female-owned PR firm in Florida in Coral Gables. And it was amazing. It was like 80 people, and they made me feel like I'm a real employee. Like you got to contribute, you got to like pitch and like talk in staff meeting. And I'm like, whoa. And that was a game changer. The clients were just not, were okay, but it wasn't really my thing. And they had one client, the Miami International Boat Show, and that was the game changer. I was like, what? What is this? You could do marketing and PR on a yacht for a boat? Influences later, influences everything. And so I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, so I'm like, maybe I could do this, but for movies. And I'm like, maybe I could be a film person. So I became locked in. I'm trying to contact with everyone I know in LA. I'm asking the agency, who do you know in LA? I want to get a job in this. And no one knows anything. Especially at that time, there's no bridge between Hollywood and Florida and Miami.
But seriously though, it's one thing we've talked about on the show often, and we've seen it time and time again with all of our guests, is like that the land of milk and honey moment. You know what I mean? It's like you come across this and you're exceptionally well at it, and everything that has led up to this point has been you going down a path that you didn't expect, and now it all funnels into one thing.
That's what happened with the festival. Like we didn't know what we were doing. We created this thing. The actor brother of Daniel owned a theater, and basically we were doing actor showcases there and stage plays. And then I was like, why don't we just do a festival here? No one's getting signed, no one's getting representation. And then we executed the first one like everything is on the line. We're like, this is it. And so we execute it. It's amazing. We did a call for submissions. This is pre-YouTube, and then we get 23 of them, 23 submissions, 23 entries. I'm sorry, 25 submissions. We showed 23, something like that. But even the first one was popping. We had a big casting director there. We had a guy with a film from Sundance presenting his film. It was a hole in the wall, but then we executed it really well, and then we made an appointment amongst ourselves to do this again in 12 months.
But it's so incredible, like even to hear that short journey, right? Because now you look at the modern landscape of film festivals, right? There's plenty out there. You could throw a dart or a stone and find a film festival, especially on Film Freeway. However, at the time you started it, was it as competitive? Because you're now going, what, 21, 22 years strong, correct?
22 this August. Yep.
22 this August, right? And the last time I talked to Daniel, he was saying like, you guys get so many submissions, you have to watch them year round. I
This is
mean,
true.
to go from like what you said, 23, 25 submissions to now like 75.
7,000. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
just for LA.
Just
And
for
then
LA.
London and like the UAE one now. So
That's what I'm saying. So like, what was that landscape? I mean, did you really just kind of like strike gold at the time? Was it the right opportunity? Because like To be honest, and again,
Naive, naivete. We were
naivete.
naive. We have no clue. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you know now, I would never do it. If you know what the landscape's like,
Come
you'll never
on.
do it. I'm
Really?
serious. Think about it. Yeah, I think we went through an era where there was no sports teams, and then I'm sorry, there was sports teams, and then there was no sports teams, right? There's so much entertainment competition in the city. There's so many events. It was popping. It's always popping, but we felt there was a need. There's no, why do we have to go to Sundance? Why do we have to go to South by? I don't know if South by was created yet. Why do we have to leave the city to get discovered or to advance your career? This is just naive. We're like, we're doing it. We don't care what's out there. We don't care what's up. Let's do us. That was it. It was just us and the bubble, and that still remains today. If you looking at what people are doing, we're not gonna make anything. I tell the filmmakers do that. I tell the filmmakers just the power of the deadline is everything. The power of the deadline is everything.
Yeah.
If you put a deadline to it, the film's getting made. If you don't, it's going to be development, 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 person. Oh, but oh, look at that. Concentrate. You know, Kugler, what was it? It felt like Little Engine That Could, that picture, right? It feels like he rallied everyone together. And it's
Hmm.
like, this is our ecosystem together. Everything else, well, you got to get the studio to buy in as well in this vision. That's another take, right? But for
Whole,
us,
whole separate thing. Right.
yeah, but we were just like doing us. I'm telling you, it's gotten crazier. And then the campaigning for shorts, I would say we've put that's because of us a little bit when we become Oscar qualifying, which is a very
What year
difficult,
did that
very
happen?
real. This coming year is gonna be the eighth year of that, I think, seventh or
Okay.
eighth year of that. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not easy. It's real, guys. It's a real thing. It's
I
not fake.
remember I
It's
remember when you
real.
first got your qualification.
It's
Mind you, again, I
real.
kind of said this at the beginning, like you were definitely responsible for programming my first short in 2011. You've programmed
On your own merit.
a
You
plethora of
did.
my shorts. We've been family since, but you've been so supportive not only to my career, but I've watched you be supportive and really foster so many filmmakers' dreams, and even like the events that you curate. You know what I mean? Having people around. It's a year-round thing. It's not just the festival anymore. And you've helped build so many careers. I mean, Oscar winners. What is it? 4 Oscar winners just alone this year in the shorts category. So it's nothing to sneeze at or take lightly. And the thing I would ask you, especially with the Oscar qualifying thing, was it was such a feat. But I remember like how proud you guys were as an organization, and you kept building, and it feels like it took off even more like a rocket ship since then. Can you describe what that process was for us?
It's a lot of work. They're real, right? Like they make the academy wants you to have a certain stature in order to reflect the top caliber titles, right? And then we started with one, it was live action. And we felt like we were doing a great job, and we were applying it took us many years to get the status. We applied, and then we weren't getting it. And so we had a few philosophies on the team. One philosophy was, we need this so bad. My philosophy was, let's keep doing us. Let's put together the best lineups every time, the best event, the best product, and whatever shakes will shake. But we did both philosophies of applying strictly, continuing and lobbying, and trying to put together the best curriculum and event. And then, one year we were close. I was like, if we don't get this, there's no, and we didn't get it. But oh, I did do a thing where I wanted it bad, so I created a prize. I qualified our winners one year, and
What was that?
yeah, we created a prize
Yeah.
where we're gonna pay for the films to be forwalled in the theaters that have won our festival
Ah.
and submit it, and then we got recognized.
If you had to reflect upon the entire experience, because mind you, I'm just gonna again shower you guys with praise. Like you said, you have to keep up, right? You have to make sure you're on your P's and Q's. You guys are over at the Chinese theater, the Chinese Six, right? Then you're shutting down Hollywood and Highland, doing your red carpet. Next thing you know, you're over at the Egyptian theater. For anybody who knows the Los Angeles landscape, these are major, tent pole destinations to be at. And you guys are doing it, 2021, about to be 22 years in. You have to give yourself a pat on the back. Look at everything you've accomplished. I mean, it's incredible, stellar work. It really is one of those things like if you build it, they will come. And now look at all you've achieved. What is your biggest takeaway reflecting back on the entire process?
Thank you. Thank you. It's just the biggest takeaway is anything's possible. You think big, you dream big, it's possible. You start seeing it, I don't know, it's a little bit like surfing, right? In surfing, if you're paddling for a wave, sometimes you wipe out, right? If you felt like you almost got it. To me, I'm excited. I'm like, I fell, but I almost got it. So I'm going right back to get it again, and I'm gonna get it, right? So that's happened with this. It's like, we had a full circle moment. You say Egyptian theater, year five, we pitched them out of nowhere. I just would call these people. Now, I'm not saying there's all apples and roses, right? There's competition, there's festivals in place that had been there 20 years before that weren't very kind to us. It's not always open arms, do whatever you want. You have to be mindful and
Earn it.
willing to push the envelope. Yeah,
Yeah,
those people are
yeah,
going to be in the way, and they're
yeah,
not nice people. They're still there. I mean, there's still people like you, we know, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
they're not like, yeah, you have
Yeah,
success, take over,
yeah, no,
create your spot, be next
we
to
know the
me, right?
industry. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we had to just be real hard nosed, and we're competitive people. Maybe it's a sports thing. So long story short, we're at the Egyptian, and they're like, "You guys can't afford this. We have clients that have deep pockets, and they can rent this thing out, But why don't we do a partnership?" And I'm like, "That's a yes." So sure, let's work it out. You're saying there's a chance, So we're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then it became the biggest event we ever did. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, what does that sound like to have deep pockets? I want that. I want to be one of those people with deep pockets, right? So you get pushed down on the floor and you feel anyhow. We did that event. It was the biggest ever, but it was challenging because it wasn't a buyout. And then, just a couple years ago, we were back there again doing a bigger event. It's just you just start seeing things are possible. There's a year, I think you were there, Denzel, where we have the Russo brothers come, and this is before the Russo.
Avengers.
They're Captain America. They've done Community. They're Captain America, and they're talking about how they were inspired and they went to Cleveland and did big things for the community. And I'm like, and they're there inspiring the kids, and the kids, I mean, are filmmakers. And I'm like, let's go. You know what I mean? You do little things, and you're like, wow, it's possible.
Wait, I have a bold question though, because when I was doing the check-in and introducing you, Theo, I introduced you as a strategic asset advisor,
Yeah,
and so far, I mean, as we speak about like the whole thing that your journey, I mean, obviously it does relate to that, but like I heard that you specifically wanted this occupation to be like said instead of like the founder of HollyShorts or anything other. Was there a specific reason? Because I want to hear the
yeah,
connection.
good question. In addition to creating the festivals, we created consultancy. So I advise people. I have another life where you can say it's a consultancy. I advise people strategically, and that could be from, I have a PR background, so I ran an agency for many years, and I have
Ah,
clients. I work with people like Spike Lee. I still do. Spike Lee, Flava Flav,
Spike Lee.
producers, yeah, and so we help them with their a variety of things in their universe. Many times that's marketing, sometimes it's management, it's advising, and then now I've added real estate to the portfolio, real estate and finance, and so we help clients. We were you can say that's another word for consultant.
Well, how was it working with Spike Lee? And
Talk about the experience, man. Like, how did that connection even happen? How did you guys get connected? I mean, what has been your takeaways working with Spike? Like you're working with a legend. He's been a legend. We grew up on his films. Now you're advising the man. You're, right there on the phone calls with him.
He's going to Toronto and he's on Birth of a Nation and all this stuff. So I help the publicity on Roger. Steven had just produced a project with Roger and Spike Lee. Spike Lee directed it. It was called Rodney King. It was a Netflix special. That was it. So, we could get to work. And so I think Spike hadn't been promoting that much. They'd done some work together and he wasn't, he does big films, right? And he does these little projects in between. And so we made a lot of noise, a lot of noise, a lot of noise for strategy and execution for Rodney King. And then Spike got wind of it. His students at NYU were like, "You should do some press on this." So then decided he wanted to do some press on it, and so we turned it up. It was during Tribeca too, which makes it even more difficult because all the media is at Tribeca. And so we turned it up, and we actually take it to Cannes, believe it or not. We fundraised and we took that project to Cannes. And even the Cannes people were like, Spike Lee's here? What? We didn't even know. Like, what is this? And we did a massive party on the beach there. And it's taken off. And next thing you know, he's like, well, I think you should help me. I'm relaunching She's Gotta Have It. When you get back to LA, call Netflix and tell them I want you to launch this for me, you and your
Wow.
team. So I
And
built a company out of that. I built a firm out of that
that is such
because
a
of him.
particular, that's a particular but amazing story. And just for our frequent flyers, also to be noted, the power of community. Because so many times, especially within this business, like you said, trying to break in coming from Miami, Jayden tried to break in right now, me being in LA and still trying to break in, especially when you see brother to brother, right? You got Steven Adams, prominent black man who sat at the desk of some of the highest agencies around, WME, yourself, with your PR background, Spike Lee or whatnot. But even our good friend Kenny Gravelis, there's such a tight network of brothers uplifting each other, and it doesn't get highlighted enough because so many times they're like this crab in the bucket mentality of tearing each other down. But you guys have come together like Voltron, like the black Voltron, and somehow made it happen, which again, just a testament to your skill set, a testament to your background, and being able to plug in and go. It's easy to see why, Spike links arms with you. You bring something to the table, and he can't trust that with everybody.
Blessings, man. I learned so much in such it's been a few years, but it was like literally film school, learning from the best. You think you know everything, and then you're like, all right, white belt, here we go. A superstar who has mastered cinema, also mastered the branding side and mastered so many parts of it. Listen, one day it's like post-COVID, I'm going to see Lakers. I know they're playing the Knicks, so it's that era where they can't fill the arena, and so they've got like Spike is literally sitting courtside though. They've
He's always
created
there,
like
yeah.
this little yeah, they created a little section for him. It's so strange.
Basically.
It's different. It's not even in the seats. He's like almost on the court. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's interacting like he's a part of the game. So the coaches are coming over, they're locking eyes, and the referees, they're like, yeah, hi. The players are dapping him up. So he's a part of the game, right? And then I'm
It's
just
like Drake
watching
to
it, right?
Toronto Raptors, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
work with him, but it's fascinating just observing. Then I hear these kids behind me, 13 and 14, it sounds like. And they're like, oh my God, that's Spike Lee right there. And I'm like, I turn around, you know, I'm like, how do you know that's Spike Lee? And they're like, oh, from the video game.
Mm.
What? He had done like
Oh
an EA
man.
Sports game that
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah, yeah,
created
yeah.
consult. I mean, so that's the power of this guy. Is he's fashion, sports,
He's
music.
everywhere.
He knows music. He will spill the music sense. His
Hmm.
father was a jazz musician. It's teaches though. The teaching thing
Hmm.
is no joke. Every Thursday, NYU, tenured professor.
Wow.
And so also imagine that as part of your DNA. If
Mhm.
that is the model, if this is, if this is the client, you can't sit around and just relax. You
No, 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 no.
gotta you gotta step
You
up.
have to
You
be
know what I'm
proactive.
saying? What are you
But
talking about?
to that point, I mean, look, you're helping the best of the best, right? A legend in his own right, somebody who's taught us. You've crafted and helped so many people's careers, artists' careers. Like, what is that fulfillment for you? I mean, I have to ask the question: do you ever get imposter syndrome? Do you ever get put in a situation like that, and it's like,
I like it.
how the
I
hell
like
am
it.
I gonna figure my way
I
out of
like it.
this?
I
Yeah,
like it. I like it. It's
yeah,
weird, man. I like it. It's
that's what
strange.
drives you.
It happened to me though. Listen, I'm gonna give you a weird story. There's a few moments.
Oh, we love weird stories.
There's a few
It's my favorite
moments
kind.
where I like being on the floor, y'all.
Okay,
I like to build back up and push it and feel imposter syndrome. It
Mr.
feels
Architect,
good.
Mr.
It
Architect.
feels
All right,
good. You don't want to be the best all the time. You don't want to be great. You don't want to be the best in the room. You don't want to
sure,
play against scrubs, right? It's
right.
like playing on a little hoop and dunking on them. Like, what?
Mm.
What fun is this? It's not good. I mean, it's not healthy. Maybe it's not healthy. Maybe it's healthier just to have the easy way. I like the hard way. The hard part to the door, that's the one I'm taking. When we have problems at the festival, when it's chaos, I like that part. It's a sickness. I don't know what it is. Weird story was we're at MGM Studios and we're in Cannes. I'm feeling nice. I'm like, what? I'm here, James Bond, I'm Cannes right now. And one guy told my boss, he was like the CFO. He told him, he looked at him in the eyes and he said, I have people that do what you do. I have people that do what you do. Basically telling him, I can fire you today and you're nothing. I was like, damn. I remember feeling that, oh, I don't like that, right? And then there was another moment where I'm in the executive room, like a big executive room, and they're just shouting at our department and just making us feel so tiny. And the person who's behind the desk is the most powerful person, the second most powerful person in the studio. Now I remember being like, I can handle this. This is it. Anyone would be like, it's over. I'm like, give it, baby. Let's go. Right. And so after you experience these moments of this is really challenging, everything else is light work. Who's talking to me right now? What? I'm not learning. Oh, no, no, no. I'm in a new division. I've created a startup and there's titans in front of me and they are looking at you like this. I told you what's happened to me. At the Egyptian, they were like, you don't got the money. You're not balling like that. I've had that before. So I like it. I like it. I'm not there. And then it makes me have a challenge to get there. Guys, we foolishly decided to launch a festival in the UAE. A festival I've never created a festival in the UAE. I haven't had an entrepreneurial vision to launch in an Arab country. I don't speak Arabic. Guess what? We did it. We executed it and people were happy. Like very happy. Think how crazy that is.
Where do you want to be in 10 years? What's the 10-year plan?
On a beach.
On a beach.
It's over.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on,
over.
hold on. 10 years from now, you tell me all this.
Over.
You get to go build Lego brick with whatever you want, how many restaurants, and you say in 10 years you want it to be over.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely.
So
I can go hard, but not hard forever. There is no forever.
So enough isn't you found your personal enough.
Yeah, no, new challenges, real estate, new building blocks, controlling our destiny as much as we can, and then, teaching, helping the next generation grow. And that's it, man. Nothing's forever, right? Like we have so many friends that have been with us on the journey that aren't here. And then you realize what are we fighting for? Like, what, come on, execute, do it on a high level, leave a legacy, and then, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it ain't forever.
So to that point,
For sure.
To that point, my second question, Mr. Icarus, who flies way too close to the sun. Actually, no, I won't say that. You don't fly too close to the sun at all. You are in God's light. Here's the question for you. What keeps you grounded? What keeps you humble? What keeps you planted as you continue to skyrocket?
Kids, man. Family. Kids. Oh my goodness.
Woo!
Quickly. Yeah. What we doing?
Is that who you do it for?
Family. Oh yeah.
Just show up. Just do the work. Theo, man, we could sing your praises for a while.
You're a force. Appreciate
really,
it, man.
Really appreciate your time, and I mean,
I
learned so much.
Y'all, we appreciate you. This has been another incredible boarding pass. Thank you so much. Again, I am your pilot, Denzel Whitaker, joined by
your co-pilot, Jayden Choi, and thank you so much. Inspiration needs no visa.
There it is. We out. Boom.
This podcast is made possible with assistance from entertainment and media lawyer Gordon Firemark, who helps film, television, podcast, and digital creators achieve the impact they deserve.
Boarding Pass is a production of IYMS Films, available wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you enjoyed today's show, and if you did, please share, subscribe, like, and review. We definitely want to hear your feedback, and we always appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.